Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Time to do a little maintenance on the Jeeps here. I'm going to start with the Gladiator. But I want to do a follow-up to my last video. Hopefully a lot of you have seen that video where I went through all of the stuff that I have done to the Gladiator and what it would cost to duplicate it again today. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. But I want to do a follow-up on it while I'm doing some maintenance on this and kind of go through some of the things I would change if I did it differently again. So I've already shown you what I did and what it would cost to duplicate it, but things have changed since I've done a few of the things that I chose to do on the Gladiator here, and I've also learned a few things along the way. So while I do some maintenance here, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys what I would do differently and tell you a little bit why. Alright, so one of the maintenance items that I need to do is to grease up all these joints on the suspension. And that leads me into one of the things that I would change about this Jeep if I did it all over again. So I've got the Core 4x4 adjustable control arms and track bars, and there's really nothing wrong with them. But there's also nothing really too terribly special about them other than the fact that you can get them powder coated whatever color you want. And let's face it, that really doesn't do anything for the performance of the Jeep. But the main reason why I would change out the control arms and the track bars is really because technology has improved since I have installed these. You got to keep in mind that when I bought this and started working on it, the Gladiator was still fairly new to the market. And since then, TerraFlex has come out with their long arm kit, which I have just heard absolutely amazing things about. So if I did it all over again, would I go with the Core 4x4 arms? No, I would not. I would actually spend the money to go with the TerraFlex long arm kit and really try that out. I think that would be the best way to go. I know there's a bunch of other lift kits out there. You know, a lot of people like the rock crawler kit where you 4-link the rear end. I didn't want to go that far. That's not the type of stuff I'm doing. But having that TerraFlex long arm kit on this thing, I think that would be a game changer. And it might be something we have to look at doing in the future on this. So, but for now, these are doing just fine. No problems with them. We'll stick with them. So the majority of what I would change on the Gladiator is actually here at the back. The deck system is pretty nice, but I think there's some better solutions now. I have a feeling that this is actually a pretty heavy system. I feel like a little while ago I looked it up and it said 400 pounds empty for the deck system. Now I'm seeing stuff that's about 200. So I don't know what it really weighs. But I think it is heavy, especially for the shape of it and how much space you give up. It's really nice having the drawers and having everything in there, but the drawers are not square. They've kind of got a V to them. And if you're packing things into the actual boxes that Deck offers you, or you know, have something that fits in there properly, it works okay. It's definitely pretty nice. And I'm sure it's a lot better having the deck system on a full-size truck where you've got a deeper bed and a wider bed. On the Gladiator, for the deck system, you get a 1 wide drawer and 1 narrow drawer. so that definitely limits your ability there. The ammo cans are nice. I know on full-size trucks there are 4 ammo cans, not just the 2 that I have here on the Gladiator. And I've put, you know, the air compressor in one of the ammo cans, which is kind of nice, but it's not the end of the world. So I probably wouldn't do the deck system again. I think I would relocate the ARB air compressor into the engine bay. I think it's Grim Off-Road makes a nice kit where the air compressor bolts up to a bracket on the firewall near the brake booster. So I'd probably just do that and then run lines back to the bed rack instead of running power all the way from the batteries to the bed to power the air compressor. So that's definitely one thing I would change. Now, adding to why I would change the not doing the deck system is there's some new things out on the market that weren't available when I built the Gladiator. Most notably is the American Adventure Lab system. We've been super happy with the American Adventure Lab system in the 392 and in Auto, the JL that we actually bought from American Adventure Lab. So the concept of having the American Adventure Lab system in the bed of the Gladiator is pretty cool to me. I do think there is a lot of open space in there. So I don't really know that we're getting a whole lot more drawer space with that system versus this. But with the deck system, where there is negative space, you can't access it. So on the sides, in the middle, in between the drawers, you can't access any of it. So American Adventure Lab makes MOLLE panels for the sides and the front of the bed. The American Adventure Lab system is completely modular. So if you want 1 drawer, if you want 2 drawers, 3 drawers, 4 drawers, 1 slide, 2 slides, you can kind of mix and match how high you want it, how much storage you want, you know, how you want that. And that's a really neat concept to me. Plus, where there's negative space, where there isn't drawers, like on the sides over here, I can have MOLLE panels where I can strap other things and have access to them. And that leads me into the next thing. Of course, if I did that, getting access to the things that I stuff on the MOLLE panels around the drawers at the front of the bed would be a little bit difficult. This Rebel Off-Road bed rack is another thing that I think is quite heavy. It's all steel, and we've added a lot of accessories to this thing. And man, this thing is heavy. So if I did it again, what would I do? I think I'd go with the extrusion Overland system. All extruded aluminum, and they have what I'm calling the gull wing doors on the side that you can do. So when I have the American Adventure Lab MOLLE panels and things stuffed in between the drawer system and the MOLLE panels, I can simply lift up on those gull wing doors with whatever accessory I have on it and access whatever's in there. So I think that's a really cool concept, and I think it's something that would pair really well together. And I think it saved me a ton of weight with everything being aluminum top and bottom. I think that might be a good way to go. So that's what I would do different at the back of the Gladiator. Now on the inside of the Gladiator, there's not a whole lot I would change. I'm really happy with the goose gear rear seat delete. I'm really happy with the overhead panel from American Adventure Lab. I'm really happy with my S-Pod. I might change out the S-Pod screen to from the touch screen to the actual button pad that they offer, but that's pretty minor. I wouldn't worry too much about that. The biggest change I think I would make is right up here, my Garmin Overlander. This is probably the least used piece of tech that I have in the Gladiator. You know, my Garmin InReach, you don't want to use that a lot. That's just there for emergencies. This, it's designed to be a navigation piece. And quite frankly, it's big enough, it blocks a lot of your view. And on top of that, with all of the apps that are out on the market right now for off-road navigation, you just don't need it. I normally have my phone up here, and I now ran a wire. I'm going to reroute this wire to make it a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. But this is connected in the center console where it connects to Apple CarPlay on the factory screen. And the nice thing about that is that onX Off-Road is one of those apps that works really well for off-road navigation, and it works with Apple CarPlay. So I can actually put my phone up here, plug it in, charge my phone, and run onX through the main screen. And if that's not enough, I normally have my iPad mounted on the passenger side. And on the iPad, I can run onX, or I can run Gaia Maps, or whatever else. That's typically what I'll do, is I'll run onX on my phone, running through Apple CarPlay, and I'll have my iPad up with Gaia Maps, and I'm covered. I don't even use the Garmin. Most of the time, I just turn the thing off. So if I did it again, I'd ditch the Garmin, open up that space, open up my visibility, and I think that would be really good. So would I change things if I did it all over again? Absolutely. Now, if I went back in time and had to rebuild this thing at the exact same time that I built this, well, a lot of the things I would change aren't even available back then. So now with what's available on the market, absolutely I would change some things. I would change the suspension. I would go with the TerraFlex long arm kit instead of doing the Core 4x4 control arms. I do like the Core 4x4 adjustable control arms and track rods. But I wouldn't do it again. The Rebel Off-Road bed rack, I really like the look of this thing, and I think it is super functional, but I also think it is super heavy. And one of the things that I'm learning here is that it's easy to add a lot of weight to these things and get way overkill on the weight. So I would definitely change that. Same with the deck system. I think it's heavy for the amount of wasted space that you have, so I would change that out. So I would go all aluminum on the bed of this thing. I'd go aluminum with the American Adventure Lab drawer system and Molly panels, get rid of that deck system, and I'd go with the extrusion Overland bed rack and get rid of this Rebel Off-Road bed rack. I'd also get rid of the Garmin Overlander on the inside just because it's so repetitive and really kind of blocks your visibility through that center section of the windshield. So I'd get rid of that as well. Wouldn't waste my money on it. So that's what I would do. Now, am I going to do any of this anytime soon? Probably not. I might ditch the Garmin Overlander. That's an easy thing to just remove and get rid of. But changing out the bed rack, changing out the deck system, changing out the suspension, that stuff ain't cheap. And I don't have any sponsors. So 100% of this is out of my pocket, and I just don't know that I'm going to see the benefit of spending the money to change it out super quick. I think eventually I will, but I'm going to give it some time. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you know when the next videos come out. And I'll see you next time on Second Chance Overland.